Every day is a blessing, the time we spend together. All we can do is promote change, 24 hours better.
Today's challenge for me, for those of you that know me, and I mean really know me on a personal level, you know that I have the ability to butcher people's names. It is a God-given skill that has been passed down somewhere around my bloodline, and I've had a challenge today of pronouncing this gentleman's name. I'm going to refer to him as Dr. G because I don't think that I could do it, and I don't want to disrespect him and his accolades and things of this nature. I don't want to do it, but a very prominent figure. We have a lot of different accolades going on here. We have a chiropractic physician, an author. We have a health advocate. I'm sure that he's probably like one of the best Parcheesi players out there. I like to make jokes every now and then. I don't know that for sure. But I'm saying among the many accolades that he has, I'm sure that there's things that just don't fit on a resume. But we're going to be talking a little bit about, his passions, his work, his dedication, his mindset, what made him pivot and what made that change. Dr. G, can we start off with first saying it properly so that I can maybe attempt it through this interview?
Absolutely. Thank you, Leland. It's Dr. Michael Guadagnino. It's a really good New Jersey name. Up in Jersey, it fits my locale.
Okay.
So thank you.
I have family in Jersey, and I will hopefully take the trip again, and I'll be thinking about it the entire time. So, first of all, what got you to be the chiropractor? What got you to like take that step in that mentality? And because that's a field that either you're very adamant about, and you're very passionate about, or something that you kind of fell on. I don't think is there an in between there?
No, probably not. I'd say this is something I'm very passionate about. I mean, I've always been into health. As a child, I was a black belt in karate. I was very much in someone who spent a lot of time in the gym, playing sports and athletics. So I was very conscious of health, fitness, and I wanted to do something in the medical field. So I went into a pre-med, I got my bachelor's degree in biology. And throughout the process, I'm also a bit of I like to do things more naturally. There's a time and place for medicine and time and place for surgery. I work with medical doctors and surgeons. I would never take anything away from that. But it's just something you could do if you could take care of your body naturally. Um, it's much healthier. It's more of a wellness round. So that's where I kind of got into it, and I'm very much passionate about health, fitness, and in a natural way. But natural doesn't mean it has to be alternative. Natural can mean just following the scientific data on good foods, good exercise, good amount of sleep, necessary supplements, and following that natural path. So that's been my passion, and that's what's been driving me and it's driven me over these years of my practice.
Awesome. So that passion to be, I guess, if I could coin the phrase holistic here, that passion to be holistic in your approach of life, has that kind of spread into your everyday working of everything else that you do, or is it just in this field particularly? What do you find yourself doing in that mindset?
For myself, definitely. I mean, I'm taking vitamins all day long. The ones I take with breakfast, the ones I take with lunch, the ones I take with dinner, the ones I take before I go to sleep. I have my regimen, my exercise regimen myself. I have to exercise 4 days a week. I just worked out a couple hours ago today. So it's just a part of me, just a part of my lifestyle, part of what I do, and then I impart that upon my patients. Um, I really feel that in order to help or tell somebody or in my office to do something, it has to come from a point of that I'm doing it and trying to reach them where they're at, trying to bring them to where I'm at. So it's just a giant part of everything I do. It's in my DNA.
So thank you for making me feel a little bit bad. This is like the only soda I've had, and it's still.
That's okay. I saw the can. I'm not
I'm gonna put
judgmental
that
at all,
down.
so that's fine.
I'm going to put it down and leave it over here now. So, in ideology, these things that you have going on that has driven you to be that person and working out and continue to with your education and your building and your networking and your pursuit and your authorism, all these things that are going on, is there a moment that said yes? Is there a moment that you said yes? This is why I do what I do, that this is what gets me up out of bed, that this is what, turns me over. Is there a moment? Is, tell that story if you don't mind.
Yeah, there's many moments throughout your life. I mean, your moments when you're, you know, you, I can go back to being in high school, and you have those moments where you just feel better being more healthy. There was moments I never was really a big alcohol drinker. I was a basically occasional drinker, but somewhere around 30 something years ago, I just gave it up completely. I mean, I was at an event just recently and everyone was having champagne. And I snuck water into my glass. It just, I just, being healthy is just something I said it's in my DNA. And there's been periods of time throughout your life, I'm not going to lie, where you stray off of it. And then you realize you want to pull yourself back and you stray off it again, you pull yourself back. Nobody's perfect and no one follows that linear path. There's ups and downs and there's waves in everything you do. And in myself, though, but I probably my downs are probably might be other people's ups. I don't know, but it's always been a thing to my driving force to want to be healthy. I just, I just, and especially now as I'm getting older, and I always give the example. I feel like I'm in an elevator, and when you're a kid, you're looking up, and the elevator shaft is all the way up there. And as you get older, that shaft is getting closer and closer. So I want to stretch that out. Now, I don't want to be an older person that needs to live on medications, like, needs to sit down the park bench as opposed to having to catch with the grandchild. So those are the things that motivate me now. The things that motivate me now is where I am in my life. I'll be approaching 60. I'll be 60 in a couple weeks. And I'm thinking that back half now, my back, I wouldn't say back nine, your back four, back five, where I want to be. And I would like to be that older person that can do the things a younger person can do. If that
That
answers your question.
Yeah, it answers my questions and some future questions and some things because there's a lot of information in that. Where does the passion that you have, and by the way, look great, by the way. I'm gonna have to take some tips there. Where's the passion and that yes and that can do attitude, and how does that, affect the patients and the clients that you have and their willingness to spread out? Have you seen that prosper and grow?
I love what I do. I love going to the office. I love working with patients. Every day is not a good day. Every day you don't have great things going, but every day I think to myself, well, I'm here. I'm doing what I want to do. And there's some days where it's just bopping and beeping, and I'm going from room to room helping people, and he's going, well, there's other days where it's just not. But I still, even on those bad days, I think to myself, I'm thankful and gratitude. Always think that gratitude of where you are and do what your passions are and where they lie and follow that path. And I just really have a lot of gratitude and joy and really love what I do. So my passions come from picking something that I love doing and and makes me happy, makes me want to do that. I get excited when someone comes in, a new patient comes in and they need help. And I'm more than happy to offer that help to them. So that also drove me to write a book a few years back, was on that same pathway of just wanting to help people. I know writing a book isn't going to make you a billionaire, but writing a book is just it's there to help give that information to someone that to may possibly change their life and turn it in a direction that add years to their life or life to their years. So that's really my passion. I just love what I do.
It's very refreshing, and I can kind of relate this. I'm being very basic here, but it's very refreshing to hear what you're saying and your passion and the emotions that's coming out of it, because I relate doctors to like the police department and the fire department. It's when we see you guys, it's at our worst.
Mhm.
It's at our worst. It's the worst situation possible for us in that moment. And to hear your passion about wanting to help, wanting to do those things. I'm not sure the fire department wants to run into a burning building. I'm not sure the police department wasn't,
Right.
not saying that, that they don't love what they do and they're not passionate about the community, but to hear what you're saying in that moment, it's very refreshing knowing that the doctor or the person on the other end has that kind of care and concern and passion like coming out of them. Is there
Yeah, if I
something?
could add to, yeah, if I could add to, when someone comes in and they're in really bad shape, and then when I finish treating them, and it might be days, might be weeks, might be months, whatever it is, and I discharge them because they're back to normal, the level of satisfaction is that's one of those days when it's really beeping and bopping. It's really going well. So it's a level of passion of wanting to. It's also satisfaction afterwards, when they're complete.
It's probably very inspiring when you cross paths with someone that you've assisted and you've helped. They're walking to the grocery store or they're doing they're doing those
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
It's probably very inspiring, that you took that hands on and you had that approach. And again, it shows on your smile and your composure right now. It shows on that, and it's very refreshing because a lot of people don't have that experience. They don't get to have
Mhm.
that experience, and I'm blessed in the opportunity sometimes to have these conversations with people. Is there something about the industry in itself that can change that perception, or that you think that that perception should change between, patient and doctor and clients and the industry in itself?
Overall, I mean, overall medicine or chiropractic. I'll answer overall medicine. It's listening to people, and they'll tell you what's. This really comes from my experience. I've been practicing for 30 something years. Just listening to people. They'll tell you what's wrong with them. They'll tell you what's bothering them. They'll tell you all the little things. You don't have to be a psychologist or psychiatrist, but just listening to people, they'll tell you. And my son, as being a chiropractor, when I went into this 30 something years ago, it was really a lot of antagonism. There still is antagonism out there. It's not what it was in 1992, but it's still there. And I get to the point where I don't really care. There's enough people out there who want my help. So if someone has a negative antagonism, that's fine. And like you said, running into the store, running into the market. Not nowadays, even they'll comment. Some I haven't seen in a while will comment on social media on one of my posts. Hey doc, it just wow. It's satisfaction is what it is. It's just a lot of satisfaction.
So this is it for you. This is, I mean, there's not a higher place that you can go, but this is it for you. Um, what do you do, like your workouts, and what keeps you like that adrenaline going? Because from what I'm understanding, the lifestyle is very passionate about being dedicated, about being pure with yourself, being challenging yourself, being willing to accept new changes, embrace new changes, and shift into these changes. So what keeps you in that level now of like, hey, what other goal do I have? Because you don't seem to be a I'm going to sit in the zone or sit in the pocket type of person. So what is that now?
I've also family. I mean, my kids are now late 20s, moving on to 30s, and just that's another level of excitement. I mentioned, working the back four now after 60. Want to be, I will, I assume I'm going to be a grandparent at some point, and that motivation and imparting that on another small child and being part of being it's so many different aspects. Yeah, I'm very involved in my town. I'm very involved with helping out. I used to run the entire recreation program as a volunteer. I stopped doing that. So it's just a lot of different things. I got to keep busy. Like I said, I got to be like a shark. I got to keep moving. I can't stop. Maybe use the shark example, but the sharks is like has to keep swimming. So that's basically so it's so many different things that I'm excited about, and keeps me motivated. And getting a good night's sleep. A good night's sleep, it's really important.
Is there a passion project that you have coming out, or something that if you could, wave that magic wand, is there something that you would do for like that you would want to change, or that you want to have that create that legacy? You talked about, legacy, and you're talking about possibly having a grandkid. I'm not there yet. And if my daughters are listening, don't you dare think about it. I'm not so not there yet. But is there a passion project that you would like to consider, or something that you would want to do?
Um, just continue to grow. I mean, there's always new things. Like I said, a few years ago, I came with the idea to write a book. The book came out last year. It took a couple years to. That was a labor of love. It took me a couple of years to write the book. But I want to do another one. I'm going back and forth. It's only been a year. This one's been out, so thinking about possibly. I actually have some plans for two different books. It's getting the time to start to write them. I'm kind of storyboarding them right now. So there's that. I enjoy doing these podcasts and reaching out to people and reaching out to folks and hopefully making a difference in one or two lives. And so it's just it's just dealing with what comes next and going at it full bore.
So let's say that you're in a room right now with, a bunch of, newbies and potential prospects and people, and that are possibly on the fence of going into this field, right? And that you are the last words that they have with somebody before making that decision. Um, what would you say to that person or that room full of people to either sway them towards or against or away, or what would be that conversation that you would have, that lingering information?
I have young people come into my office and will follow me around. And I tell them, if this is what you want, it's not easy. It's not, the schooling is difficult. Even for chiropractic, you have to do your pre-med, you have to do it's almost 4 years of chiropractic college. You have to come out and start a practice. You have to want to do that. If you have that drive and that motivation to do it, then by all means, go for it. But make sure it's something you want to do. It's really something, no matter what you do in your life, something you really want to do. If you don't, if you're not all in, you're not all in. You've got to get yourself all in. And I tell them, if a room full of people, I don't want to turn anybody off to doing this, but if they're not really something they really don't want to do. If they want to do it, they want to put that time in study. They want to do that time, and I think when they graduate and do the research, follow the new technologies, follow the new science. Uh, Even though people go for it, completely go for it, because it's a great thing. It really is a great career.
So I've had the pleasure and displeasure for, a few years of my life to be over the road and driving, for trucks and companies and various natures. And my trainer at the time, he would always say things, because the trainer that taught him had been driving for 40 plus years. And he said something that resonated with me to this day. It's been over a decade, but it resonated with me to this day that I will always hear his voice when I'm doing the job. And even when I get in my car now and I'm driving to the grocery store, he's riding shotgun with me in my mind. Is
Mhm.
there someone that did that had that resonating effect to you, or what words did you hear?
The first thing is one of my favorite teachers, who unfortunately she has passed. The day I graduated chiropractic school, gave me a big hug, and she said, "Go out and do good things." It's just something as simple as that. I still remember that. Another thing I hear daily is one of my employees told me that this is like a holy place. We do nothing religious in my practice, but it's just a place of just peace and tranquility and healing, and so those things. But the thing that my teacher told me, I remember her saying that to me: just go out and do good things, and that's always been back here. Am I doing a good thing right now? Am I always doing good? Am I doing right?
So where do you go to reset? I mean, you seem to love what you're doing and you're passionate about what you're doing. And I heard that phrase that if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So where do
I
you go to
work.
reset?
I do work, but it's just family time. It's just downtime. It was just sitting with my wife watching television. And just that's the reset. I'm spending time with visiting my son or my daughter, and that's type of stuff. I find it in family was like I get my reset. Or we'll go away on vacation together, or that's where I find the reset. But every night, just coming home, having dinner with my wife, watching TV, talk, whatever it is. That's where I get a lot of my recharge.
Speaking of television, I gotta have to ask the question because I'm somebody on the outside of this. Is there any particular show that you've watched that was accurate for your profession, or that you were like, oh yes, exactly, and is there anything like that that stood out to you, or something that was totally against everything? You were like, oh no, that would never happen.
Yeah. Well, on Two and a Half Men, the one brother was the chiropractor, and the things he said, and the thing there was just that I just watched. When I just watched that, and he was talking about his profession, I'd be like, no, it's not. You're facilitating the myth, not the truth. That one, I can't think of anything that's exactly like what we do, but no, but that one show I'd say is the one that every time I watch it, he's talking about being a chiropractor. I say no, no, because it's just not.
You had to turn it off.
Yeah,
It's one of those things.
sometimes, yeah,
It becomes second nature, and then you can't like turn your brain off when anything like speaks in that nature to you. So that's good to know. I'm gonna probably look up that episode. That's probably that's good to know.
yeah.
I'm like, no, Dr. G said no, that's not the way it works. So with
Okay.
with that being said, you kind of answered the question that I always ask. You kind of answered that about what keeps you motivated. Okay. Now, since you did ask that, well, you did answer that. I'm going to ask you a different version of that now. What keeps you in the moment to inspire others?
The one phrase I can tell you, I told my kids all the time growing up, and I still say it once in a while now, and they say, all right, all right. I always said to them, never settle. It's the same thing too with my patients, with their health, anything you're doing, and with my kids, and say, never settle, never settle on spouse, never settle on education, never settle on vocation, never settle on anything. We only come through this life once, and we're only here for a short period of time. And settling is just it's not right to yourself. It's not right for your mind, your spirit, your everything. So that's my big thing. I say never settle. And I blog once a week, and I'll talk about things like that in my blogs. And that's the big thing. That's the motivation. And another driving force is you never know who's watching. You never know who's watching. And I had two small kids, and now two older kids, but they're still watching. And you want to set that example. So it's always never know who's watching you, and just don't settle. Those are the two things that really big driving force in my life.
Okay. So, Dr. G, where can people find you? This seems like to be like an amazing amount of knowledge that I probably wouldn't be able to absorb in a lifetime. But I know that you said don't settle, but I probably wouldn't be able to absorb this in a lifetime. So where can people find you? Do you have a website? Is there anything like that you are, now's the time, and please share all that.
Sure. I have a website. My website I consider my home base. It's drmguad.com, drmguad.com. And from there, I have all my social media, including my YouTube page, where I show different kinds of stretches and exercises, and positive motivation. My weekly blogs are on there. You can even sign up for my weekly blog. All my social media. I'm very often I post on Instagram, which is Dr. Guadagnino. You'll find that on the page. And everything can be found on my website. So I'd say start there, and you can just find everything.
Well, it's been my pleasure. It's been my esteemed pleasure to have a doctor on the show, and a chiropractor at that, an author at that. Please, what's the name of the book? We didn't even talk about that.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the book at all. Fitness over 50, 60, 70, and beyond. That I sell some autographed copies. You can find it on Amazon. It's selling really well. It's a best-selling book. So I'm really proud. It came out last March, so it's been out about a year. Again, fitness over 50, 60, 70, and beyond. And it's not like a scientific, it's got scientific data, but it's not a biology book. It's very conversational. I talk about common things, and it's really for people in my generation, people 50 and over. It's really it's a great book.
I'm almost there. So like I'm gonna need that book. I'm gonna have to buy that book soon. I'm almost there. I definitely appreciate it, and I respect your time. Possibly would even like to have you back soon and talk more about the adventures in the field, and maybe milk you for a little bit more knowledge that should be more common for people. So I might even have that. Might have to request a little bit more time with that, depending on the doctor's fee. So
yeah, no fee. I would love that. This was very cathartic. I enjoyed this very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. G. I won't try it. I was going to do it. I won't try it. Dr. G, thank you very much. And I appreciate you, sir. I hope you continue to do everything that you're doing, and the love of your patients. I can see it radiating off of you. And thank you very much for all that you do.
Thank you very much.
Every day is a blessing. The time we spend together. All we can do is promote change. 24 hours better.